Coming up next on Spotlight Rewind, today we're talking about wrestling. We have 3 stories for you to show you are all about wrestling. We have 2 state champions from Lake Gibson High School, Darian Perry and Caleb Smith. We'll share with you their state championship journeys. Also, their former head coach, Danny Walker, will be in studio to share his thoughts as well. And also, Colton Raush. He wore headgear that said Captain America. He had a big heart. He wrestled heavyweight even though he gave up a lot of weight, but he did a great job for Auburndale. These stories coming up on this edition of Athlete Spotlight Rewind, and it starts right now. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to another edition. This is the final edition of Spotlight Rewind. More on that in just a second, but I'm glad you're tuning us in. My name is Mike Moore, and an interesting set of stories today. It's all about wrestling. We have 3 athlete Spotlight features we want to show you. Now, 2 of them are with my coach and my guest here, Coach Danny Walker. Not my coach, but you could be. You can teach me a few things. 2 state champions, and then we're also going to do a Spotlight feature on Colton Raush, who is from Auburndale. That's one of your rivals, but you're going to stay here with us, right,
Yes,
Coach?
I am.
Okay, all right, we're going to do that. But you know, we were talking about this. Anytime you have a state champion, you've had state champions before, it's got to be special. And when you have 2 in 1 year, certainly like Darian and Caleb, who we're going to see in just a second, that's got to be pretty special.
It is, you know, and coming into the season, they were highly regarded. They both had done very well the year before, but they hadn't got over the threshold of getting that title. So they put in a lot of work, paid dividends. They ended up winning the state title, and now they're on to bigger and better things.
Yeah. Well, we're going to start with Darian Perry. Now, Darian, just so you know, and you'll hear this in his story, his junior year, he lost in the finals. In fact, I believe he lost in districts and regionals and finals to the same guy. And so he says, I'm not ever going to let that happen again. So let's learn more about Darian Perry, and let's do what we always do. Let's rewind and let's replay our Spotlight feature on Darian Perry, state champion wrestler.
Last year, it hurt me that I was so close to winning it, but couldn't get the job done. So this year, I've been finishing all my matches out like it was the state finals last year. Every match is my state finals match until I win my state championship. But last year, I was unfortunate. I had to wrestle the Brandon kid at districts, had to wrestle him again in the regional finals, and then I had to wrestle him again in the state finals where I lost to him all 3 times. So I was I'm prepared this year. Like, if I have to wrestle the same kid 3 times in a row like I did last year, this time I'm gonna be on the other end of it. I'm gonna win 3 times in a row.
He came to us coaches and said, look, you know, I want to win it. I want to do whatever it takes. And we said, well, listen, this is going to take this. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take a lot of sacrifice. It's going to take a lot of year-round training.
I just started wrestling nonstop. I went to Texas. I wrestled there, South Carolina. I went to Michigan this summer. I went to Disney Duels. I just went everywhere to get some mat time, to get better. That way I can be the best wrestler in the state of Florida this year.
Champs on 3, champs on 3, 1, 2, 3. Champs!
We push each other hard every day. Hard. We go hard with each other. We don't take nothing easy. We wrestle each other like we're in a match for a medal, and that's why we're a good team. Anybody can be beat. I beat 2 state champs this year. I see everybody as a state champion, so I wrestle them like a state champion. I never like to lose, so I do what I can to never have to face a situation where I'm losing. So I outwork my opponents to where I'm winning at all situations. Going into the season, I set my goals to be an undefeated state champ, and being undefeated right now is just the first part of my goal. Even if I lose one, as long as I'm state champ, I'm still happy with it.
He always was straightforward. He always knew what his goal was. And I can tell you there's one thing that he never said. He never said it was a definite that he would win a state title. He says, I'm going to work as hard as I can, and if I win the state title, I win it. If not, they're going to have to go through hell to beat me.
This year, 118 and 28 overall, 2014 state runner-up. Ladies and gentlemen, coach from Lake Gibson, Daniel Walker and Brent George, Darian Perry. And 2A 132, your champion is undefeated at 45-0. Ladies and gentlemen, from Lake Gibson, Darian Perry.
You know, I haven't lost a match since last year's state tournament, and that just shows how much I wanted it this year. I wasn't gonna get denied. Last year I was denied my state title. This year, I earned it.
Just so excited. Darian worked so hard, and he finally got what he wanted. You know, he tried last year, and he got it this year. So.
You know, Coach, those medals
Yes.
are they're priceless, and the kids, they love those the tournament board. I forget the brackets.
The bracket board.
That's
yes.
just something everyone. The winner gets the bracket. And that's
They
just
do love that.
They love that. You know, when you look at his season, finishing undefeated, he was 45-0. You know, he really set himself up for either I'm going to win the state or the season really is going to be a failure for
Yes.
me, and
Yes.
that puts a lot of pressure on him. How did he handle that? Obviously, he handled it well.
He did. He's a different type character, though. Very motivated, very driven. You know, when I met him when he was a sophomore, he was a 117-pound football player, but was very explosive. So he just was different. It was different. You know, it takes a different type kid to do the things that he did in the way that he did them.
Yeah, and he has a younger brother we're going to talk more about when we kind of talk about your team this year and next year, but who's going to be trying to follow some big steps.
Yes,
but
yes.
We'll see. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Let me ask you about Darian, though. Obviously, he was one of your leaders, not just because he was a good wrestler, but I think his work ethic was probably hard to find anyone that worked harder than him, perhaps.
Definitely. It was very hard. And then once he set his mind to becoming that state champion, there was no one that was going to outwork him. No one's going to outwork him, and there was no one that was going to take his place as being the leader of the team on that particular year.
You know, there are a lot of people that don't know much about wrestling. Wrestling, unfortunately, doesn't get the attention it deserves, but the practice sessions alone are a little bit different than what other sports. I mean, you're in this room, you shut the doors, it's really hot in there.
Yes.
It doesn't smell good in there.
No.
I mean, and it's hot in there because the guys are trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
To go through all of that anyway, even if you're not a state champion, is tough enough. But to push yourself like he did and others did, and you push them. I was at some of your practices. You don't let them take a break other than what they're allowed to do.
No. You know, you got to come in the room every day, and your mind's got to be right. Because you're going to be in there, it's going to be hot, and you're going to be getting slammed, you're going to be getting taken down, you're going to be getting put in positions that you really don't want your body to be put in. So it takes a whole different character just to do this. Anyways, and then to go all the way through, go undefeated, win a state title, it's just something special too. And by the way, that's the smell of championships.
All right, that's a smell. A lot of people, moms
Yes.
don't go in there and
No.
smell that championship smell. They might not like what they smell. But you know, you're right. A lot of hard work. Guys are cutting weight, and you push them. I've been in a couple of your practices, and it may look crazy at times. You guys are literally running back and forth, running off the walls.
Yes.
But there's a method to your madness in there. You're trying to push them to the mat to go all the way to the end of the match.
Well, our theory is, if you know, there's no way you're going to get broke in a match if you can go through what we're going through on a daily basis. Like I said, it's hot, it's steamy in there. You're getting thrown around. You go into a gym on a Saturday, the air conditioner's on, it's nice. You don't have to worry about it. So you put your body in a very uncomfortable situation to when you go out there to perform, it usually works.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to be there as a viewer shooting video at one of your practices, because it was nice to know that I didn't have to do any of that. You were blowing the whistle and yelling at them, and I didn't have to worry about that. So that felt good.
That's good.
That felt good. You had another guy on your team, Caleb Smith, who was also a state champion. We're going to see his story in just a second, but his scenario a little bit different perhaps from Darian, but he also came into the state championship the year before, finishing second.
Yes.
And so his goal once again was to win a title or bust, I guess.
Or bust, and like I said, a different situation. He had wrestled a lot longer in his life. So, but he had suffered some setbacks, broke his collarbone. He had gotten hurt the year before. So to see him put it all together and finally put it from when he was a little kid, put all that work in, and for it to pay off, it was really nice to see.
Well, it did pay off big time for a state championship for Caleb Smith. So let's do what we always do. Let's rewind and replay our Athlete Spotlight feature on Caleb Smith, another state champion from Lake Gibson.
I'm Caleb Smith, wrestled 113 for Lake Gibson High School, third as a sophomore, second as a junior, and definitely this coming up state title run, I'll definitely be a state champ. I know that this is my last chance, so I have to go out and get it. This is what I've been working for 4 years now, and I'm just ready to get it.
Don't break, right to it.
It's hard to keep going when your body gets tired, you can barely breathe, but eventually, if you really want to work for that goal, then eventually it will come with good effort and good work. You can't depend on anybody else but yourself, really. It's all up to you, what you do.
Caleb, hips up, Caleb. Take him off, Mason.
Wrestling 113, definitely smaller guys. It's the best thing about this sport, really, is it doesn't really matter. It's the most fair. You have someone that you're going against that's your size. Cutting weight, definitely not. Definitely one of those things that is not fun. It's just a part of the sport. Most cases, if you want to be really good, you're going to have to at least cut a little bit of weight.
Hurry up.
I want to go to D1 college, because going and competing at that level knows that, you kind of are one of the better people out there, So I signed a letter of intent with the Citadel in South Carolina. My mom, she's been there ever since I started wrestling. She's supported me the whole entire way, even though she may have not wanted to deal with all my weight cuts and everything, but she's definitely even helped me with that, being there for all my matches. Every time she can, she's always there. My coach, Danny Walker, he knows how I am, and definitely knows the things that need to be said to me.
Can you take it?
He knows that what can come out of me and what he expects. Yeah, on the board it says Caleb, stop getting Caleb's way, because sometimes my biggest opponent is really just myself. Knowing that this is going to really be my last time in high school wrestling, it's definitely a little nerve-wracking. Really, I just believe that just pushes me a little harder, knowing that this is going to be my last time.
His opponent is 23-1, a senior from Lake Gibson, Caleb Smith.
feels pretty good to finally win state, you know?
Guess what? He got out of his own way. Now he's a state champion. No one can ever take that from him. This kid, he's wrestled hard for 4 years. He's broken his leg. He's broken his collarbone. He's had some tough times. And I tell you, he's disciplined. He's cut a lot of weight. He deserved to win the title.
Went out there,
And then it's funny.
just try to get it done quick. Ended up finally getting it done quick, and you know that's all I could ask for.
And you know, Coach Caleb, part of his story was you had that picture on the board, getting out of Caleb's way or whatever. And I like what you said, he got out of his way. For, you know, every person is different, but for him, I guess some getting out of his own way, maybe it was negativity or thinking I can't do it. I'm not sure what that was, but that was something you had to coach him probably a little differently than you do Darian.
It was completely different. It was night and day. You know, Caleb, get out of Caleb's way. That was because it was his diet. Mentally in matches he would shut down sometimes. He had this thing where he would wrestle the first 4 minutes very good, and then the last 2 minutes he would just sort of try to coast and relax. So we had to get out of that scenario. Had to change his way of thinking, his lifestyle of eating and stuff like that, because he did cut a lot of weight. So it was a little bit different with him.
That's an interesting scenario. Sophomore third, junior second, senior first. You have another wrestler on your team who happens to be related to Darian, Diamante. That's done the same thing. Finished third and second. Now he's coming up on his senior year, hoping for a state title. That's got to put some pressure on him, especially considering his brother has got a title.
You know, he came into this year and his big aspirations were, I want to win a state title this year. That way I can get more than my brother. Didn't work out. And but he had a great season and went into the finals and probably maybe overlooked his opponent a little bit because he going into it he was the favorite, but he wrestled a little tight. As our team as a whole wrestled a little tight, but he wrestled a little tight and just got caught in a situation. And with good kids, you can't do that. Good kids, you're going to get caught in a bad situation. They're going to finish the match, and you're going to be off the mat quick.
This year, obviously, Darian and Caleb moved on to college, and we saw where they went to school, Caleb going to the Citadel and everything. But this year, interesting, because there are some numbers here. I got to throw these out to you, and you know exactly what they are: 41, 26, 15. Two of those numbers you're very happy about, one of them not yet, but 41, you won a district title, snapping a 41-year streak by Brandon.
Yes.
That's almost done. Coach, that was, I don't even know, you're not 41, are you? That was before you were born.
I'm not 41. It was definitely before I was born. To go and look back at it now, it's a great accomplishment. To be the team as great and as successful as they have been. I would like to get the last one. I would have liked to got the trifecta, but again, we didn't wrestle very well. We wrestled a little tight.
Right.
So.
Well, let's go 26. 26 was you stopped a streak of 26 years of regional titles by winning the regional title. That's amazing number two. These kids, they weren't even been born for a decade, and Brandon was winning these regionals, and so that's an amazing accomplishment. Did you think going into state, because you just said you didn't win state, that you obviously you had to be considered a favorite? It just didn't work out, though, did it? It
didn't work out. After the regionals, to win it in their gym, which was special in itself. Because there's been a lot of times where a lot of people come out of that gym and it's just it's the other way around. So to win in that gym was special. And then for it just not to work out at the state tournament, it was a little bit defeating, a little bit painful at the time. But we've moved on and we're building, and we're going to try to get that third streak this year.
Yeah, that would be awesome for Lake Gibson. And just so you know, Brandon, they continued their streak with state titles to 16 consecutive years with a state title. That's some amazing numbers. When you think about wrestling is the kind of sport, it really is. You're a diehard Lake Gibson Brave, but the guys in your area, there's something there. It is a brotherhood, isn't it?
It definitely
You compete, but at the same time, there's camaraderie there. I see that with all the guys sometimes from all the schools. Because it's a unique sport. It really is.
It varies. It really is. You put a lot of time and effort into it. And the coaches are the same way. They put time and effort into it, and they've been in those rooms. They understand, like I said, being in there hot, sweaty, grinding it out. And then as a county, you see a team or an individual doing well. and you want to pull for them. You want to root for them because we are one. As you know, actually, when we go to the state tournament, you look for that Polk County kid on the mat. He's a mat 7 or mat 5. So you want them to do well. You really do, because it's better for the county and it's better for all the programs.
Sure. Everyone's success benefits everyone. So, but it's got to be some great success beating Brandon in the districts and in the regionals. That's amazing. Well, there's one more story we want to bring you, and this is not someone from Lake Gibson. This is someone from Auburndale, which is in the district. And I didn't realize this. That's actually where you went to school,
Yes.
Auburndale.
Yes.
So, but Colton Raush was a young man that was wrestling heavyweight. Even though he wasn't actually a heavyweight in terms of how much he weighed, he was giving up a lot of weight, but he showed a lot of heart by wrestling a spot that the coach needed. So he has a very interesting story, and as you're going to see, it goes all the way back to when he was a young kid. So let's do what we always do. One last time, let's rewind and replay our Athlete Spotlight feature on Colton Raush, who wrestled heavyweight for Auburndale.
It's my senior year. It's about to be over because I'm going to miss the good times I had in football, and wrestling, weightlifting, all the sports I did, and miss all my friends because I know we're all going our different paths. The thing I'm most proud of is NJRTC, is my RTC unit, because with that's one of our biggest clubs here. We have over 150 people in our class that are participating in the club, and that I'm the commanding officer of it. The thing that makes me a good leader is that I set the example.
He was third team All-State as an offensive lineman, which is pretty incredible when you compare the size of the other 4 linemen in that group to him.
If you want something, hard work, you can get it. That's how you do it.
He actually played center and he played inside linebacker, which is, there was a lot of times I don't know how he did it.
And I show that in football and wrestling also. My freshman and sophomore year, I didn't even make the varsity lineup. And then my junior season, I made it to states as a qualifier. And weightlifting, my freshman year, I was benching like 205, 220, 210. And then going into my junior qualifying last year, I benched 325 pounds.
He's hard work in the classroom. I mean, he's a hard worker at wrestling practice, weightlifting practice, football practice.
He doesn't just preach it, he does it, and he does it consistently. He brings it every day.
It's not all about size and gifted talent. It's about your work ethic and your hard work ethic and everything else, your determination for accomplishing great things. In elementary school, I was in a mainstream classroom. I was always pulled out for a half a day, going to a ESE classroom to help with my speech and my writing, all the way up to 5th grade. And once I got into middle school, I still got pulled out of class for my speech therapy. Then once I hit high school, that's when I said, I can do this on my own. I don't need anybody to help me. Ever since then, I've been doing AP classes, honors classes, and I have above a 4.0 GPA. I haven't been given the best abilities, but I've conquered them. But I want to help spread that to other people and show them that you might have a disability, you might be behind the 8 ball in athletics, you might not be blessed with everything, but I'm going to teach you and help you because I know that you can do greatness. The reason I wrestled heavyweight last year, I was wrestling 220 the whole season, and I wrestled a couple of heavyweight matches and two team tournaments that we did. And I knew on my team there was nobody else that could do it. There was nobody able to wrestle that heavy because they're not as strong as me. I'm like, Coach, I wrestle heavyweight. I feel like it's my responsibility as a team leader and be an example, just go out there and show them how I'll do it. So I went up there for a summer program during the summer. I loved the campus. I loved how everything was run there and how they trained us actually for that 1 week as if we were actually part of their cadre or their swab at the Coast Guard. So once I learned that, I'm like, I love the Coast Guard. I want to go to the Coast Guard. Once I got accepted, I'm like, there's no choice anymore. This is what I want to do. Yeah, I'll be able to play football for the Coast Guard Academy and wrestle for the Coast Guard Academy as the coach showed me. And Coast Guard, I feel like they probably won't put me in heavyweight anymore. They probably put me in my normal weight class because that's the way that I actually wrestle heavyweight there. I want to be that person. I want to be like my dad because he's shown me how. Like, he's done stuff that I want to do later on. Is because he's been in the NFL, he played college football, he won a state championship for wrestling 2 years. I want to pursue greatness. I always want to do it because I know that if I pursue greatness, I could capture excellence, because you can't be perfect.
Give me, say 11, 12 Coltons, and I'll go ahead and order my state championship rings.
Hi, I'm Colton Raush. I'm a great Bloodhound Arbordale High School student, and thank you for watching.
Well, Colton Raush, not on your team, but actually your old school, alma mater, kind of a special guy. I mean, he got along with everyone, I think, didn't he?
He did. He really did. He was a class act on and off the mat. Yeah, I've never seen such a humble, big guy, whether he won or whether he lost. He was always first class. Him and his dad both would come up and shake your hand. Thank you, coach. Thank you for everything. A true competitor at heart.
Yeah, and it's interesting. His dad, Peter, was a state champion as a wrestler and actually won a national championship at Notre Dame in football. I think he kind of alluded to that. Then played in the NFL. Was in the movie Rudy. If you go watch the movie Rudy, the big offensive lineman, I think number 75. That's him right there, Peter Raush. So some history here in Polk County.
Yes,
that's pretty cool.
Yes, there is.
When you think about wrestling, again, wrestling is one of those sports where you don't get the attention. I'm glad the Lakeland Ledger, includes all the results, but TV doesn't go out as much, and so you're not in the limelight like football and basketball.
No.
So if it's about being the gym's not necessarily packed, but you do have faithful followings, and there's a lot of people, because wrestling's a great sport if people will give it some time.
If you give it some time and you just learn the sport and actually learn what it takes for these kids that put in the work and what it takes to be successful. It's not that sport where you can have a 4.3 40 and be successful right away. You got to put in the work and you got to work hard at it. If not, a lot of kids just fade off. It's a lot of hard work.
I've seen a lot of kids that thought because they were strong, that was going to make a difference, and they realized some weaker kid with some technique.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, so that's well. I wish you the very best. Season 16 for you, is that coming up next year?
Season 16 is coming up, and we will return every state qualifier and every state placer on the team.
Oh, then you like where you're sitting right now, don't you?
Yes, I like where we're sitting. I think our chances are pretty good. But again, you got to finish the season with kids not getting injured. That's number one. That's the hard part about wrestling. You got to go through, because there's always a knee or shoulder that gets tweaked.
It is a grueling, long season because those workouts are not easy. Anyway, Coach Danny Walker, thank you, sir. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
And I'm glad to come back and kind of show their Caleb and Darian's spotlight one more time, as well as Colton's. Thank you for being here. As I mentioned, this is our final edition. I am moving on to something other than PGTV. And so I want to thank all the people behind the scenes, certainly Al Garcia, director. He's helped me so many times shooting and editing these spotlights, and everybody else involved here, from Maya Nelson all the way down to the top. Great place to work. You don't know how lucky you are to have a station like PGTV doing Sports Central and these kind of stories right here on government television. So thank you so much. I appreciate you allowing me in your homes. Take care. And that is true in this television place to get out sport.
I know.
You taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?